How do you find inspiration to create the best cocktail in the world? The beauty of our surroundings, or the thought of traveling the world, are both a good start. This is the famous heart-shaped road in the vineyards surrounding my hometown, and it's what inspired me to create what could be an entry to the Margarita Challenge 2024. I partnered with Cointreau to tell you all about their latest edition of the competition to find the world's best margarita. Yes, the applications are open right now, and if you're a bartender, you should apply through the link below before March 31st. The theme and challenge this year is to capture the flavor of your city by making a twist on the margarita, of course. But all of that got me thinking, if I'd apply, which I'm not, what would I make? Maybe I can give you an idea or two. From the opening shots, you'll know why the cocktail is called the Love Road Margarita. But throughout the episode, you'll find out why I used Cointreau Unique, Yogurt-washed Tequila, acid-adjusted wine, and sea salt Saline Solution. We'll go through the rules, the theme, how to use that to your advantage. And when we reach the bottom of the glass, I'll tell you about the price and an exciting twist for this year's challenge. The deadline is approaching, so let's dive into today's cocktail competition time. It's now over 3 years ago, but we already talked about entering and winning a cocktail competition on this channel. Way back in 2021, we made 2 episodes with plenty of tips and best practices for when you enter a competition and why you should do so. One of the most important things is to carefully study the rules, requirements, and every little hint you can find about the challenge in front of you. And that's exactly what we'll start today. Click the link in the description or the pinned comment and start the Margarita Challenge. And the things that you should take careful notes of are, of course, the cutoff date to apply, but more importantly, the theme and rules of the challenge, the evaluation criteria, and what you need to provide when applying. And yes, this challenge is open to professional bartenders only, but that shouldn't stop anyone out there to trying to express the flavor of your city in a margarita. Now where to start when you want to capture the very essence of your surroundings in a drink? First, as mentioned, take note of the rules. Here you need to use Cointreau Unique and salt. Everything else is up to you. Then think about what makes your city or your area unique. What's something you can showcase through a well-made drink. For example, Slovenia is a small green country and I don't live in a huge city, so I looked for inspiration in rural areas and the things I can use from there. Plus, Slovenia has love in its name, so that helped with naming the cocktail. You'll have the best result when you combine the skills, ingredients, and story into one cohesive unit. You want to show your craftsmanship through the carefully selected ingredients that tell a story of your cocktail that combines for 90% of the evaluation. The last 10% is a visual presentation and the photo you provide. So don't forget about that part either. So here are the ingredients I'm using for my take on the margarita. Cointreau Unique is what starts the party. An orange liqueur, where the essence of sweet and bitter orange peels are magnified with just 3 other ingredients: pure water, sugar, and neutral alcohol. Margaret Sames, by some accounts the creator of the margarita, famously proclaimed that a margarita without Cointreau is not worth its salt. Speaking of salt, we'll use 2 kinds from Piran salt pans, where it's still cultivated according to the method of more than 700 years ago. And with 36% of land in Slovenia being agricultural, I looked to our winemakers, dairy farmers, fruit farmers, and beekeepers for other ingredients and flavors. I'll use yogurt-washed tequila and acidified white wine to twist my margarita. I'll garnish the glass with apple-flavored heart-shaped meringue and a fleur-de-sel rim. Once you find the ingredients to make a great cocktail, we're on to the story behind it. Ready? This is a love letter to the green paradise I live in, where vineyards, pastures, and orchards meet the sea. Infused with strawberry yogurt from a local farmer, tangy wine from a vineyard with a heart-shaped road, and a touch of hand-picked sea salt. This cocktail captures the essence of our local flavors and age-old traditions. Join me on a journey through love and nature in every sip of the Love Road Margarita, where our land and sea unite in blissful harmony. If that made you want to try the cocktail, here's how I made the ingredients. Let's start with giving tequila a bit of local taste with homemade full-fat strawberry yogurt. This will infuse the spirit with the flavor and creaminess of the yogurt, adding a subtle richness to the final cocktail without overpowering it. To achieve this, I'm mixing 300 ml or 10 ounces of Blanco tequila with 100 grams of full-fat strawberry yogurt. Mix everything together and let it sit for 1 hour. During the process, the fat molecules in the yogurt bond with the alcohol, which will give us that added richness. After 1 hour, place it in the freezer for another 2 hours. This will make it easier to strain the tequila through a coffee filter. The yogurt also adds a little sweetness and imparts its unique taste profile, enhancing the complexity of the spirit without overpowering it in the cocktail. When it's completely filtered, bottle, label, and move on to acid-adjusted wine. This slightly oxidized wine will be the sour part of our margarita. It can often happen that wine oxidizes if you're not using it often in a bar, and it gets discarded. But this is a mix of dry white wines. It already has some acidity, and we'll boost that with acids to mimic the acidity of lime. I'm using 200 ml of white cuvee wine and adding 6 grams of malic acid and 2 grams of citric acid to make sure we'll keep the green color from the apple peels. I'm also adding 0.4 grams of ascorbic acid or vitamin C. Now for the peels, which will also give it some extra flavor. 30 grams will be enough. Mind the fingers when using a peeler and set the peeled apples aside. We'll need them for later. Now blend everything for the acids to dissolve and the peels to blend completely. This will have a wonderful sour apple aroma. Strain through a cloth filter. Help it along with a potato ricer. Then pour it into a bottle, add a label, and this lime juice replacement is ready. I get asked this a lot, so I'll show you how to make saline solution as well. Dissolve 20 grams of salt in 80 grams of water to get a 20% saline solution, and that's it. This should be enough for around 500 cocktails, depending on how many drops you usually add. And lastly, to prep the glass with our heart-shaped meringue and a salt rim. For the latter, I'll thinly brush the side of the glass with Cointreau unique and sprinkle it with salt flour. These tiny white pyramid-shaped crystals are the most precious harvest from the Piran salt pans, making this the perfect fit for our special margarita. And to bring it back to the heart-shaped road, surrounded by green vineyards. Let's make some green heart-shaped meringues. Start by juicing the apples, and after you juice the first few slices, add 0.25 grams of ascorbic acid, so that all the following apples are juiced into the mixture with vitamin C, which again prevents oxidation and discoloration of our juice. I'll then place this in the freezer, because I want the water content to freeze, giving us a more intense and sweeter apple flavor. This is called cryoconcentration, and I covered it with pineapple a while ago. With the water frozen, I filtered the concentrated fruit juice, so we ended up with a little less, but the flavor is cranked up to 11. We need just 30 ml or 1 ounce of apple juice, so we have plenty. I'll combine it in a bowl with some green food coloring to showcase the green colors of Slovenian landscapes, and this will get lighter in color after we add 3 grams of powdered egg white. We of course need egg whites to make the meringue, but instead of using eggs, we have apple juice as the liquid component. Mix everything with a hand mixer, and when you see the foam is starting to form, slowly add 40 grams of superfine caster sugar, or just blend some regular sugar. That works too. Gradually add sugar while mixing, and mix until you get stiff peaks. In the meantime, preheat the oven to 90 degrees Celsius or 195 degrees Fahrenheit. Transfer the meringue into a piping bag and use it to make small heart shapes on a baking sheet. Place that in the oven and bake for around 1 hour. Check on it regularly, as the time can depend on your oven. Once done, store them in an airtight container. We'll place one on the side of the glass straight away. To get it thick, I'll use a small amount of raw honey. Beautiful. Place it in the freezer for a few minutes to chill the glass. And with all that done, we are finally ready to make the Love Road Margarita. What you'll hear me say in the voiceover is also mostly what I write in the cocktail ingredient and the cocktail recipe step-by-step section of the application. Into a chill shaker, add 25 ml or a little over 3/4 of an ounce of Cointreau unique. Next, 52.5 ml or 1 3/4 of an ounce of tequila, which I washed with full-fat strawberry yogurt. Follow that with 22.5 ml or 3/4 of an ounce of acidified cuvee white wine, which has malic and citric acid added and was blended with green apple peels. For the salt part, add 4 drops of 20% saline solution, made with ungrounded, unrefined sea salt from the Piran salt pans in Slovenia. Shake well with ice and double strain into a well-chilled rocks glass that has a salt rim with Slovenian salt flour. A garnish of a green meringue heart, made with cryoconcentrated apple juice, powdered egg white and green food coloring is also added to the side of the glass. Enjoy the Love Road Margarita. Now I could go through the tasting notes. That distinctive orange note, a roundness from the yogurt, strawberry and apple working with everything, and how it still has the margarita profile, plus the wonderful heart garnish. But I'm not going to do that, because when you make your cocktail, it will be important what others, the judges, think about it. And if they like it, you might just win. And now that we've reached the bottom of the glass, I can tell you about the prize. From all applications, 10 finalists will be chosen to fly to France for 3 days of visits and mixology challenges, with the final event taking place at Cointreau's historic mansion in Angers. The winning recipe will earn you a trip for 2 to France and a sponsor budget for promoting your margarita variation in the best cocktail bars selected by Cointreau. And in an exciting twist, they're also introducing the Rookie of the Year category, offering a great opportunity for all bartenders with less than 2 years of experience to mix their way into the spotlight. Take your chance. Plus, I guarantee you'll meet some amazing people along the way. So start working on your own creative take on the original margarita and apply it through the link below. Post an orange emoji if you made it all the way to the end. Good luck if you'll compete in the Margarita Challenge. I'll see you next week. Cheers!